gonna eat your cornbread?
Maybe I'd eat your cornbread.
You're not gonna eat my cornbread. Anybody who tries to take my cornbread, there's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Neither did anybody else when they voted for our movies that we asked them to partake in whenever Life, featuring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. That's a quote from that. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, got it. Great.
Yep.
Welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Hey.
What's going on?
Listen up, guys. Can I address something to the people listening? I just want, because, like, if you're paying any attention, you've been getting these episodes very sporadically.
Yeah.
We've been producing them consistently, but they're coming out sporadically. And I just want to say, we know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Life happens, y'all. It's busy.
That's it. It's no big deal.
Tariffs.
It is happening. It is the tariffs. You can't say it's not.
Yeah. Prove me otherwise.
It's having a known impact.
We did the math. We know.
Mm-hmm. I asked ChatGPT to do the math, and it came out the same. So here we are.
Anyway.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. Let's talk about what we've been doing this week. A lot of movies and TV stuff happening lately. There's some finales coming up. Big shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big movie dropped this week, Minecraft. We're not really going to talk about that, but it happened. I went to the theater and saw a movie called Hell of a Summer. You guys heard about this one?
Only from your letterbox notification.
So,
I really only heard about this in like the last couple days.
Yeah, I think I saw a trailer for it somewhere, and that's where it caught my eye. But it's a, classic... Well, not classic. It's a slasher it's a summer camp slasher, right? But it's got a very, comedic horror twist to it. It's written and directed by Finn Wolfhard and Billy Burke, who is another person around his age who I don't know. But two young guys writing and directing a movie about summer camp murder spree. And I found it really fun. I would say, if you like movies like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, that's a good, funny slasher movie. Yep, pulling that one out.
What a surprise hit that one was.
Right? If you like your actually classic Jason movies, at Camp Crystal Lake, you're going to like this stuff. So it's set in the days before the campers would come, so it's like camp counselor weekend. And the main guy is he probably needs to move on and shouldn't be still being the camp counselor. He's 24. He's been doing it 6 or 7 seasons. Everybody's like, I thought last year was your last. And he's like, why does everyone keep saying that? I love it here. And the other guys are just trying to party and have fun at the camp. And then killers.
Ooh.
So,
And then killers.
I'm intrigued.
Yep, that's the best
Love a
I
good
can
slasher
do.
movie.
Yep, and it's very funny, very comical.
All right.
Very short.
Is Finn Wolfhard in it? Or
He is,
did he
yes.
just write it?
No, he is also in it. He's not, he's not the main guy, but he's one of the...
But he doesn't need to be.
He's one of the main camp counselors, so
That's
I enjoyed
cool,
it.
Though, for him to get a
Shine.
directorial debut at this point.
Agreed. I enjoyed it. It's also got Adam Pally in it, in a smaller
Adam
role,
Pally.
but I bring him up because he makes me laugh. So that was my only trip to the theater this week. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it if it comes across you guys' screens anytime soon.
Okay.
Have to check it
I'll
out.
have to check that out.
David, you got a movie on here that
I do.
I'm surprised to see. What have you doing watching 2 Weeks Notice?
Well, I've talked about in the past, we do a thing called Nikki's Picks here at the house. That's my wife, Nikki.
Yeah.
And sort of in exchange for watching 310 to Yuma with me, she picked a film that she wanted to watch, which really we looked for through movies for a while till she landed on 2 Weeks Notice. And I said, okay, well we can try that. This is a classic Hugh Grant joint. Hugh Grant, Sandra Bullock rom-com. I've been thinking about this now for a week. I watched... the behind the scenes for The Black Phone, right? And in it, Ethan Hawke said that he was afraid to play a scary villain because he, in his words, when you let an audience see those worst aspects of you, it taints how they see you going forward and going back. He said that after he saw Jack Nicholson in The Shining, he couldn't look at Jack Nicholson the same way in any role. And now I can confirm that going back and watching Hugh Grant in a rom-com after having seen him as a bad guy in a couple of films now, I'm like, oh man, this guy just reads so disingenuous.
You got to do the rom-com era first, I see.
Whether it's Paddington or whether it's Heretic, I'm like, oh, I don't believe this guy. He's gonna kill me. But 2 Weeks Notice is kind of an interesting little movie where Sandra Bullock plays like a very like a do-gooder type lawyer who's like protests and trying to help save the world, and she gets embroiled with this rich real estate developer, and somehow becomes sort of so entangled in his life, and they fall in love, and it's very rom-com. The worst aspect of the movie is the Donald Trump jump scare that happens towards the end of the film, where they go to like an event because Wade is a real estate developer. I'll tell you,
it happens so often.
The thing is, it makes sense, but it's 2002. Hugh Grant's character is a real estate guy who lives in New York. They go to an event, they go to a charity, and Donald Trump has a cameo where he says, "Hey, where's that new woman you're with?" And he goes, "She's not going to be here, I'm afraid." And he goes, "Well, I might have to snatch her up myself." And he goes, you wouldn't stand a chance or something. It's very blah blah blah, and it's literally 45 seconds and then he's gone. But
they shot this thing at a Trump property. I swear to God they did. That's in a contract for him that he had to be in a cameo, and most of the time it got cut. That's why he's in that second Home Alone.
It's a throwback to when it's such a throwback to when Donald Trump was just a silly person and not
He's still
a silly president.
He's still a deeply silly person.
Like before, like he had all the power and influence that he has today. He was just kind of a comical cartoon character that lived in New York, and he was like, it would be like if they had the naked cowboy from Times Square in the movie. It would be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's New York. It's also a movie that I don't know would be made today because it's very much about like a very like. It's about a very liberal woman. I mean, in the movie, she cites all these like classic, Democrat and left wing protesters as like her heroes, and like judges and stuff that are her heroes. And the beginning of the movie opens also with photos of them as kids, and she as a kid is like walking in a parade that says "Impeach Nixon," and then the next shot is a Photoshop of Hugh Grant at a baseball game with Richard Nixon. Like, and I'm just like, I don't think there would be a rom-com today that features basically a liberal and a Republican getting together. But it was entertaining. Hugh Grant is very funny. He's very funny. So, I mean, I got over my fear of him midway through the movie, but he's very funny. There's a sequence where I don't want to get into every beat for the movie, but I enjoyed myself. It was a fun little rom-com.
All right. I like it. What's on your screen, Garrett?
Man, I've been watching The Rookie forever, and I've never met another human being in my life that's ever seen The Rookie.
But it's been on for like 8 years.
Yeah, somehow it's still on, and I 100% credit Nathan Fillion, and just people love Nathan Fillion and are watching it for Nathan Fillion. That's why I am watching it. Also, keep in mind, Castle lasted for like X amount of years.
It was a long time show.
So I have been watching this show, and it is I like to call it a background show, where it's good enough for me to keep wanting to watch it, and I can just kind of jump in at any point in time and not really miss anything. I can pick up easily. It's an easy soap opera, right? Well, it's usually been pretty good, and it's pretty believable, but I feel like this is the year where they have jumped the shark, and I'm very interested to see, A, who else is watching the show, but B, if people agree with me, because so far the two most recent episodes have been straight up Speed and The Purge.
Oh, okay.
Both of them. Back to back. The bad guys hijacked a bus, and they couldn't stop because there was a bomb. And then the good guys got on like a thing, and then they jumped from the thing to the bus. There was even a Keanu Reeves reference at the end of the episode. So they knew what they were doing, right? So I gave it credit for that. And then in the most recent one, though, they hired a new social media intern who posted a bunch of crap on their social media that was like, park it ticket amnesty day, come bring your parking ticket and get it, relief for it was a lie. And then then she just escalated because she kept getting in trouble. But the next one was like, get out of the jail free card. That was a lie. And then she basically posted for the next 3 hours, crime is legal, have fun, don't call us. And then it turned into The Purge.
What? How is that a real plot line? What are you telling me right now? That they can't stop the intern?
She changed the passwords.
Honestly,
that's the thing. She changed the passwords, and IT couldn't get in.
That is believable. That part's believable.
Yep. So so I just saying, listen, it was definitely one where I went, okay.
Did somebody piss her off? No. Why was she doing this?
Yeah, well, she thought it was funny, and then somebody who is one of the police officers came in and was like, "Hey, you can't do that," and she just was portrayed as a Gen Z type person,
lazy
and
defiant,
combative and defiant and very.
Did she have a nose ring and a visible tattoo
and purple hair?
Or any of those three?
All of the. It could, yes. In some way, it's possible. Yeah, I can't confirm the hair because my eyes don't work properly, but
especially for purple.
Yeah, but I think she had a nose ring. I'm not confident though.
Well,
it was definitely a stereotype portrayal.
I do not watch The Rookie, but I will tell you that there is a sub fandom of The Rookie based solely around the Cop Cuties song and band that is in that plays in the garage. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
I mean, they've even. So I saw that in the most recent episode, the leader of the band is now dating one of the cops.
Yeah.
It's elevated. It's escalated. They're getting as much mileage out of this as they can.
How have you learned about the sub-fandom without knowing about the surface level? You. How did that happen?
TikTok. So,
about
TikTok. Why is it showing up in your TikTok then?
Well, I'll tell you what, the simplicity of the TikTok is you start watching and you go, hey, that's Nathan Fillion. What's this show? And then all of a sudden a garage door comes up and a band starts singing this song mocking, Nathan Fillion, and Nathan Fillion's anger and ire at it, but also it's an incredibly catchy song.
Yes,
so
both are true.
It blows up. It becomes so popular, and there's a lot of people I see in the comments say, "I've never watched this show, but I live for this video." And then that's amazing. And then they did a callback to the video to that particular bit in the most recent season or last season, and now it's moving into full storyline where the band is now involved with the character, and Nathan Fillion's rage just grows further and further as he has to endure this band that mocks him every day.
As someone who has watched the show, I can confirm what he is saying is true.
I'm speechless.
It's kind of like how there's a sub fandom for just that scene of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Andy Samberg sings "I Want It That Way" with the lineup with the criminal lineup.
Yeah,
that clip has its own fandom.
You're right. I would actually say you could go further and say Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Office, I think, have sub-fandoms that just like cold opens. Mm-hmm. Nothing else.
That's very true.
They just love the cold open.
Cold opens are always fun.
Well, that's fun. Those are fun stuff. I also watched a movie at home this week that I had not watched in a very long time, and I watched it for a reason, and that is Batman Forever. I watched this weekend on Max because... we learned this past week, as of this recording anyway, that Val Kilmer passed away after his lengthy battle with cancer. I believe he was 65. I don't know all the details, but I believe he had been fighting cancer for quite a long time, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it was throat cancer.
Yeah. But he had it. He had been fighting it for a long time. I know he had appeared in Top Gun Maverick briefly. I don't know if he'd done anything since then. But
I'm looking at his credits now, and that's the last thing that he's credited for. And I had read that he hadn't really been able to get out of bed for the last several years, which is sad.
That makes sense because they would have filmed that Maverick scene years ago. It was
because it got delayed, right?
It was a delayed movie. It was filmed in 2019, maybe, if I remember right. Anyway, That's crazy that was his last appearance. But so I had to check out Val Kilmer in Batman Forever again. I forgot how much of that movie I knew by heart just from watching it as a kid over a lot. It's not something I like today anymore, really. You know, it's much easier for me to revisit Michael Keaton's Batman movies in terms of childhood Batman. But there is something about that Batman Forever movie that still I was like, these lines are coming out as it's happening.
It's weirdly funny. It's sort of like hard to believe that they made that movie the way they made it. Like, it is. I think this is Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. I kind of think overshadow Val Kilmer in a lot of ways in that movie, just with how cartoonish over the top they are. However, and I think this is fair to say, rest in peace, Val Kilmer, but I think he's like the horniest Batman in that movie that we've ever been given.
Yes.
Him and Nicole Kidman are all over each other.
I think they are. He's the horniest Batman, even though he didn't need Batsuit nipples to prove it.
No.
That was Clooney.
Yeah,
but you were right. And Nicole Kidman. One thing that killed me, I was like, how old were these guys in this movie? Our age.
Mm-hmm.
I think it said Val Kilmer was 35, and Nicole Kidman was like 28. Yeah, you come to this place for heartbreak or whatever.
You come to this place for like molded rubber.
Yeah,
she's all hot and bothered about Batman.
Looking at all of his stuff, and he would show up in things that I would watch, and then it would just be like, oh my god, it's Val Kilmer. And so, like, going in reverse order, he was Blunt Man in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot recently in 2019 as well, showing up there. He showed up in an episode of Psych on USA way back then, and he was great. I'm sure. I don't remember that episode, but I'm definitely going to go find it.
Well, I can tell you what happened, but I'd have to remind myself of some of the details.
Fair enough.
So there's a character in Psych that's often referenced but never seen on screen. Like, they always say, like, oh, get Blank to do it. Have Blank do that.
Oh, yeah, and then he shows up as that guy.
And then also parallel to that, Sean Spencer often cites Val Kilmer as, like, his icon.
Yes.
So,
yes.
He's like, he leaves a video for this character that has never been seen in the show, just saying, like, I don't know why, I always felt an affinity with you, and it's Val Kilmer.
Love that.
So
Love
it's
that.
very meta joke,
but he was just great, and I'll never forget the Tombstone marathon that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
that for me is the iconic role that he will always live in my heart for.
Yeah, Doc Holliday. That was a real revelation watching that sort of the like you said, the relay marathon that we did with each other, where we each, for some reason, watched it in successive weeks. As a kid, I also, he was the voice of Moses in Prince of Egypt, and that was a movie that I really enjoyed as a kid, and I think it has a solid legacy as well. But he was a really versatile actor who I think shows. I mean, whether it's other movies, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, his role in Heat, Deja Vu. I mean, he had such a great career. And honestly, anything we would say almost wouldn't do justice to the impact of Val Kilmer's career. But it's really sad for him to go, and it was hard to watch or hard to see how he had to deal with his illness through the end.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, let's talk about what we are doing on the show, the proper show this week, the main show. It's book club month. We've been talking about book to film adaptations. We kickstarted things off with The Black Phone. Yes. You can watch that. I don't remember where. Was that on Peacock? I think
Peacock.
I think it was on Peacock. Watch that if you haven't. If you missed that episode, go back, check it out. Let us know what you think. Yeah, we all really enjoyed it.
Ethan Hawke.
A balloon and a van.
And a black phone.
Then later this week we'll be talking about 3:10 to Yuma. Well, look at you. I don't have a prop for mine. You had to dig that. Where'd you
get that book?
Where'd you dig that up from? Because you told us last time you were having a hard time finding it, right?
Yeah, it was on. Well, I just ended up getting it from Amazon, but I wanted to go find it like physically in a store so I could pull it out, but I just ended up ordering it.
Sweet. Then we'll be wrapping up the month, I think, with Matilda, the 1996 movie based on the Roald Dahl book. Very excited Very excited to wrap up the month. I think these are. I think this is a good range of movies we got here. We got 2 short stories. We got a horror. We got a western. We got a children's book.
And sort of a fantasy of sorts.
Vibes all around. So I'm excited about that. David, what's the box office been like this week?
Well, guys, we did not. I guess we didn't really partake in the 6th highest opening weekend of the 2020s, but that was the Minecraft movie, which opened with right now the estimate is $157 million. Truly, like I didn't think it was going to do that well, but it did huge numbers. The crowd seems to be going crazy for the sort of meme culture of it all. Like I said, that's a huge opening weekend. That's up there with the upper echelon, at least within the last 5 years. That's one of the highest. It's the biggest weekend of the year so far, for sure. Number 2, you have A Working Man. That's the Jason Statham film that released last weekend with 7.2.
Dang, what a difference.
And then The Chosen, Last Supper Part 2. So Last Supper Part 1 is still in theaters right now in the number 8 spot, but Part 2, you can see it came out number 3 with 6.7.
It's all building towards 420.
It's true. And then Snow White drops to number 4 with $6 million in its third weekend. And then The Woman in the Yard brings in $4.5 million at number 5. And that is your box office recap for this weekend.
Man, what a dump.
What a pretty wide dumping
with
ground.
respect to Minecraft, that movie's not made for me. I acknowledge that. I'm glad people found it and loved it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what's coming up on the horizon, but it looks like it's Minecraft's world for the next little bit at least.
To reference something you said, Josh, Hell of a Summer debuted in the 8th spot with 1.7 million. You had talked about that a little bit ago.
Good. I'm glad people, because I didn't give him 1.7 million. Had to be more than just me. Yeah, go out and see movies. Let us know what you're watching. If you go out to the theaters, we'll be doing book club.
We need some good recommendations.
I know we do need some good recommendations. We will give you ours as usual as they come across. Be sure you go to our website, somanysequels.com. You can get all of our episodes there, as well as some blogs that we've been writing, links to our socials, all that fun stuff. And you can get our videos at YouTube and on Spotify, and then podcasts wherever podcasts are downloaded. All right, we will see you guys next time with 310 to Yuma. Bye.